the Bible, there's a lot of prophecies, and there's a lot of them that predict the coming of Christ. One of them in particular is in Deuteronomy. It says in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 17 through 18, "The Lord said to me, what they say is good. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their fellow Israelites, and I will put my words in his mouth. He will tell them everything I command them." And so if we think about that prophecy, it's predicting somebody who is sent from the line of the Israelites, and somebody who will speak for God. And so then when we look at the New Testament, we can look at Luke. In Luke chapter 4, verses 14 through 21, we read, "Jesus returned to Galilee in the power of the Spirit, and news about him spread through the whole countryside. He was teaching in their synagogues, and everyone praised him. He went to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and on the Sabbath day he went into the synagogue, as was his custom. He stood up to read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. Unrolling it, he found the place where it is written, 'The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor.' Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him. He began by saying to them, 'Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing.'" And so it talks about how Jesus, is from that line, and he goes in and he's teaching, and he's sharing about God with the people there. And as he's in the synagogue, like he normally does, he's just handed this scroll, and it's one of them from Isaiah, and it says it has this prophecy that Isaiah made. And back in that book, it talks about how when that is spoken, that person will be the person sent there from God, the Son of God. And so back in Deuteronomy, it's talking about just how God is going to send somebody for the people to hear about him, somebody from the line of the Israelites. And then that person will move forward and be teaching and stuff. And so what I think about this scripture, I think it's really cool. In particular, when Jesus takes that scroll, that Isaiah scroll, he is basically doing like an ultimate mic drop. Like he gets done and it's just like, boom. It's pretty obvious he's the Son of God. And so what's really interesting is this is one of the places where it's so important. He really straight up recognizes and states who he is by saying, "Today the scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." And so we have two different prophecies here. We have the one in Deuteronomy and we have the one in Isaiah, and both of them are predicting a coming of Christ, a coming of a Spirit of the Lord, a voice of the Lord, coming as man, and coming and sharing good news, and setting captives free, and freeing the Israelites, freeing them from the bondage that they have, from just the sins they've committed and things like that. And so with Jesus doing this ultimate mic drop, he is basically saying, I'm here to share the good news that you are free, that you will be free. I am here for you. And so it's just a beautiful moment in scripture where you can see that Jesus was just humbly being the teacher that he was supposed to be.